What up, y'all, and welcome to the Illinois State Fairgrounds for the 17th race in the NRSL Jerky Pro Truck Series 2022 season. We're here at the Springfield Dirt Mile for 40 laps of action, known to be the race of the season. It's the penultimate round here in 2022. And man, Audra Baranauskas with a 59-point lead over Donovan Cage, who starts second next to Sam Young, who comes into this race 72 points back. Henry Sandfer, the only other driver in range, coming into this one 106 back. He starts fifth. All three of those drivers looking to chase down Audra and have a chance at the championship next week in Chicagoland. I'm joined by my boy Vince Freeze as always. What's going on, Vince?
Yeah, man. Audra Baranauskas this season, cashing those checks. Maybe you can seal it today. But Sam Young and Donovan Cage, especially Sam Young, took out a loan early in the season. And after that Willow Springs, when he really rise through the points, and Donovan Cage has been pretty consistent, believe it or not, in the later half of the season. Big Talladega win. Can he get some momentum? Man, this is going to be a fun one. It's always a fun dirt mile here at the fairgrounds. Let's have some fun.
Sam Young, with his fifth pole of the season and sixth of his career, moves him up to second on the all-time list behind the one and only Audra Baranauskas. Let's get through the rest of the starting lineup. Lucas Catano and Jack James in row 2. Henry Sandfer, Will Parrish, row 3. Jack Holton, Max Anderson, row 4. With Dylan Ibrahimian and Winnie Calhoun in row 5. Audra Baranauskas starting in 13th as I go through the rest of the starting lineup. Looking at past races here, Sack Flickinger won in a Toyota back in 2017. Then we didn't come to this track for 2 years. Came back in 2020. Jeremiah Dwayne, the only driver who's won here as a rookie. He got it done in 2020 in a Ford. And then Colt Hudson got it done last year in a Ram. Some statistics about that win. Hudson led just 3 laps. And the driver that led the most laps of the race did not finish top 5. That was Nate Rogers, who led 11 laps. But man, Vince, this year, I just have a feeling that we could see somebody lead 20 laps today. Sam Young has been so dominant from the pole this year. He won the Bristol Dirt Race from the back. Second best truck behind Audra at Oswego. As the drivers are about to be told to start the engines. What kind of racing do you think we're going to see here? Is it going to be mostly the people that are starting at the front staying at the front, or will we see our usual super speedway type package?
I'm going to say usual super speedway type package towards the middle. I think at the beginning, though, with the experience up front, it could be pivotal. And, I always say it every year, we could see a surprise in terms of one of those rookies, maybe. One of those rookie people coming through the field. But what do you do here is you got to stay out of trouble, man. Audra Baranauskas starting pretty good on that inside line. It's typically the way to go. But when you got championship contenders on the front row, your job in the mindset of Cage and Young, scare them. Get out early, lead laps, scare the competition, have fun. We know how good Penske is on these tracks less than a mile or shorter, especially on dirt. We'll find out today who can get it done.
Interesting statistic as well here is that Chevy has never won here in the Jerky Pro Truck Series, but they've won the past 3 races in the Cup Series. We'll see if they can change that up here today. 40 laps of action, 42 drivers. We usually have a caution pretty early. We'll see if that trend continues, and then we usually have a caution near the midway point. But usually no more than 2 yellows here today. We'll see what kind of race we get. Pace trucks down pit road, and the green flag is out. We are underway here at the Springfield Mile. Already 3 wide for the race lead as Lucas Catano and Henry Sandfer waste no time going for the position on Sam Young. But Young able to clear down into turn 3, and he holds the lead single file for the first lap.
Catano looks strong, little 4 wide action, trying to peek out there from, looks like that's Sandfer again. Find out if Catano can go a little lower. There we go.
3 wide with Jack James and Donovan Cage. Cage will fall back to 5th. Now a crossover on the 13. Catano looking to chase after Young for the lead, and we have our first caution of the race on lap 2 as predicted. Young will be the leader here at the start-finish line. Let's see who it involved. Looks like it involved Ron Bishop. Pat Johnson's going to bring it down the pit road. Man, looks like PJ Vidal with some damage, but that appears to be the extent of it. Pit stops will not be required at all today. Everyone can make it on gas, and tires do not wear here. So without further ado, let's take a look at what brought out the first caution of the race. Taking a look at what brought out our first caution of the day, it's going to be a 4-wide situation with DeLello on the bottom, Johnson and Bishop in the middle, and Vidal on the outside line. So they go into turn 1. DeLello's going to get into the inside pit wall. That's going to bounce him up into Pat Johnson, and then just nowhere for them to go. DeLello manages to keep it straight. But Vidal, Bishop, and Pat Johnson all go into the outside wall. And that's a tough break for Vidal, who's had some great races lately. He's put his hat into the Rookie of the Year mix coming into this race. 5 points back of Scott Roush. Pat Johnson third in line in that battle as well, a little further back. But that's going to hurt their Rookie of the Year battle chances here, as now they have damage for the rest of this one. Getting ready to go back racing. Pat Johnson now 1 lap down, but continues. No retirees. We'll have 35 laps of racing to go. Sam Young is the leader. Lucas Catano in second. Henry Sandfer third. Donovan Cage in fourth. Jack James fifth. Ibrahimium sixth. Holton seventh. Baranauskas is up to eighth. Parrish is in ninth, and Billy Kidd rounds out the top 10. Get some notables. Anderson 12th. Carrillo 13th. Ribbleton 15th. Gene Sandfer 18th. Mitchell Collins 22nd, Bradley Ream 25th, Brad Lewis 28th, Benjamin Ice 29th. Now all the trucks single filed out. That should let them string it out a little bit here, and we should be able to get a good run going here from these front runners. As man, Pat Johnson is slow.
Yeah, no surprise there with the damage as Ibrahimium's hit the wall there in the back.
It's going to open the door for Holton to Ibrahimium's inside. As the race is on here at the front of the field. Henry Sandfer looking to go up to second place. Henry has not won a race since 2020. Looking to change that here this afternoon, as he will likely be running full-time in the Cup Series next year and not staying in Jerky Pro.
Cage underneath, looking pretty fast. Jack James, we know how good he can do at dirt. These championship contenders, man, Young and Cage, they got to start running, especially early. Audra's a little bit trapped back there.
So far, Audra hanging around the back of the top 10. In 9th place, under fire from Yael Carrillo. Max Anderson racing with Will Parrish behind them. How about Jack Holton and Billy Kidd up to 7th place? These two rookies having a good day so far.
Talked about the pre-race how one of those rookies can make a surprise. We know rookie winners this year have been abundant. See if we get another one today.
Ooh, Ibrahimium was leaning on Lucas Catano's quarter panel there as Donovan Cage is taking the top spot. Sam Young gonna dive it back underneath.
Over there from Young, there's Sandfer, Jack James, just the usual suspects at the front here. It's in our lap 10.
So far, Sam Young has led every lap of this race, 9 laps in total. As I mentioned, most laps led last year was Nate Rogers with just 11.
So got a little tight there. Comes Donovan Cage to look for a second. As you can see, Pat Johnson's definitely spread the field out, but clamp the field in the back. The front's getting a little spread out.
Cage gonna move back into 2nd place. Now getting crossed over by Henry Sandfer and Jack James. James gonna check up. And now they are side by side for the race lead is Sandfer and Young.
Sam Young's definitely flirting with getting a little tight off the exit too, and there goes Sandfer. I think Jack James, well, we're gonna go 3 wide.
And we have another caution on the racetrack here. Before lap 11, Henry will be the leader at the caution. Let's see what happened this time. Hunter Braxton with front end damage. Morris Reeves has smoking damage. Roy Ribbleton on pit road. The Reza's got door damage. Benjamin Ice with door damage. Man, Cody Magrick. Looks like we had quite the wreck. Henry Sandfer is our leader. Let's take a look at the replay. This wreck starts in turns 1 and 2. Magrick and Ribbleton racing for what was 17th place. Ribbleton goes to his inside, middle of the corner, slides up against his truck and just puts him into the wall, and they spin out here. Benjamin Ice is going to have nowhere to go. Gets put into the inside wall. Then DeLello has nowhere to go. And then back up the track he goes. Enzo Nareza, Hayes Green, Jessica Strauss, Hunter Braxton, and Morris Reeves in the back clips a piece of this. Just nowhere to go going into turn 3. Let's take a couple of onboards here. On board with Benjamin Ice. That's a tough break for Ice, who had been mired to the back from a poor qualifying effort. On board with Gene Sandfer. Gets put in the wall there after Reeves hit the 33. And then Gene nowhere to go here. Gets a little piece of damage there into the back of Daniel Brown. But otherwise appears unscathed. Let's get you guys to the race restart. Getting ready to go back racing. We'll have 26 laps to go. Pat Johnson has been parked for not making minimum speed. Out of the race from the accident, Roy Ribbleton, Hunter Braxton, and Morris Reeves. That leaves us with 38 trucks on the track. Henry Sandfer is your race leader. Sam Young in second. Donovan Cage third. Jack James fourth. Lucas Catano fifth. Ibrahimium sixth. Billy Kidd in seventh. Baranauskas eighth. Carrillo ninth. And Holton rounds out the top 10. Fastest lap on the race belongs to Christian Russell with a 26.645. Chris White second fastest there. 4 drivers total under a 26.7. Baranauskas and Ream, the other 2 there on top of the chart. So we go back racing. Donovan Cage with a good restart is going to go right to the inside of Sam Young. And Young's going to go to the inside of Henry Sandfer. We're 3 wide for the lead down the back straightaway.
Donovan Cage is on a mission today, wasting no time. So is Young. Jack James as well. Catano, Ibrahimian. There's Audra Baranauskas.
And everybody's coming to the front now as Donovan Cage will take the top spot. Sam Young not giving up, though. Ooh, they are really close to each other right there. Practically touching doors through turn 2.
Run racing, baby. That's how it is. Run dirt. But I gotta say right now, Jack James definitely has better turn. Ibrahimi is looking 3 wide, though. As Sam Young and Cage will duel it out the line here.
Ibrahimium looking for what would be his second win of the year. He got that first win back at Martinsville. As we are under caution once again, man. Holy goodness gracious. 3rd time today. Not even at the halfway mark yet. Sam Young leads them once again. Looks like it might have involved Reggie Fogelman. As holy goodness. That was Gene Sandfer. Aaron, Gene Sandfer pit under green, and her pit stall is right in front of the start-finish line, so she had not yet raced back to the caution, but she about cleaned out Sam Young there, getting by him. That was scary. Let's take a look at the replay. Taking a look at the replay here. Reggie Fogelman, Cody Magrick, Roger James in the 74 behind, and then Fidel there in front. And Fogelman gets in the Magritte here as they're coming off the corner. And he's going to get turned by Roger James. It was a bit of like an offset 4-wide situation there. Everybody was at each other's quarter panels. Just ran out of room. And Fogelman gets turned, and we are under caution once again. Getting ready to go back racing. We will have 21 laps to go in this one. Sam Young is your leader. Donovan Cage is second. Jack James third. Ibrahimium up to fourth. Henry Sandfer in fifth. Catano down to sixth. Carrillo seventh. Baranauskas eighth. Billy Kid ninth. And Max Anderson rounds out the top 10. Holton now down to 11th. Bradley Ream in 15th. Will Parrish down to 16th. Mitchell Collins into the top 20. Talello 23rd. Lane Sanders up to 25th. Scott Roush 26th. They were near the back earlier. PJ Vidal's been making slow gains. Look at all these trucks with some door damage back here. Benjamin Ice in 36th. Pace truck down pit road. 21 laps to go. Can we get some green flag action from here on out? We'll find out. Sam Young leads them to the green flag.
Cage seems to be the best on these restarts. This Sam Young gets tight. Jack James peeking a little bit 3 wide, backs off. Makes smart here.
Cage to the race lead now. Jack James looking for the top spot.
Shot right there is Jack James, Young, and Cage.
Oh, man. Sam Young about cleaned out Donovan Cage and Jack James in one go. As now they are 3 wide up at the front of the field. That's Catano on the inside with help from Carrillo.
It's go time for these guys. You can see the draft is starting to kick in. Intensity's going up, aggression. Donovan Cage on that outside there. Can he keep it cool? Yep, he does.
Jack James currently in the lead, but Sam Young to his inside. Looking for the top spot.
Digging underneath as well. He's got great traction up at 3. Same with Carrillo. As they drag to the line, it's all Sam Young, baby, out front.
3 wide behind them for second. Catano on the inside. The Toyotas are moving their way towards the front with Carrillo, Billy Kidd, and I think I saw Chris White. Yes, I did. There's the 11. There's the 54 of Austin Tyler, who's been moving through the field during this race.
Ibrahimium's looking 3. Sam Young still leads. Catano's looking underneath for second. There's Audra, still working.
Audra been in the top 10 pretty much the entire race, but just has not moved forward just yet. Just kind of biding her time, it seems. Or perhaps the power is just not there. Perhaps the setup is not there. She is at the front. Now she goes to the inside line looking to move forward as everybody's chasing Sam Young.
Tyler is going to take that to the inside. Look at Ibrahimium and Carrillo. They're still trying underneath.
Oh, and they're getting tight once again. That was Jack James on the quarter panel of Donovan Cage that time off turn 2. They love to get the racing tight off of turn 2, Vince.
Yeah, they do. And there's Audra now. That inside line's starting to cook. As we got 3 wide for the lead, but Carrillo and Jack James just don't have the momentum top side.
Catano to the race lead, looking for his first win since 2020. Got that first career win back at Memphis. As now Carrillo is about to put Sam Young in the wall, and they're going to go 4 wide.
Going to get dangerous right here. What is Ibrahimium? Audra just backs up for 5 there for a second. Oh, they're touching. They're touching.
Oh, they're touching, and they're in the wall. Sam Young in the wall. Carrillo, Donovan Cage around. Chris White involved.
Russell.
Oh, and Lane Sanders pile drives to 18. Mitchell Collins, Jessica Strauss are around. Oh, the front straightaway crashes here are always crazy. Christian Russell's got a ton of front end damage. Man, Sam Young And Donovan Cage involved as Kitano is the leader. 4th caution flag of the day. Let's go take a look back at this one. 4 wide through turns 3 and 4. You can make it work, but they were offset. Carrillo gets into Sam Young, and right at the left front tire, they hook together and go into the wall, and Cage man just gets clipped by Carrillo. Henry Sandfer with some great evasive maneuvers here to miss this.
Just white, just a little bit.
Yeah, you see Russell get into Dagger on the side. That's what gets them involved. And then Russell hit the back of Donovan Cage, hit him into the inside wall. Collins had nowhere to go, slams into Chris White. Winnie Calhoun, I think, got a piece of Carrillo, and then Lane Sanders had nowhere to go. And then Jessica Strauss, in turn, nowhere to go. Everybody now hard on the brakes. A little bit of a pile jam going on there at the bottom of the screen. That was Nereza and Daniel Brown behind Gene Sandfer. That was a tough break for a lot of good trucks. Let's take some onboards. On board with Yael Carrillo. Right as he had it saved, he gets slammed by Lane Sanders, and that is going to end Carrillo's race. On board with Sam Young. Pretty decent contact into the outside wall. We'll have to see what that does to Young's performance for the rest of the race. Last but not least, we're on board with Donovan Cage. Pretty, like, no contact really there until later in the wreck. Sent him to the inside wall. And then a little touch from Mitchell Collins. We'll have to see what Cage's performance is like. Let's get you guys to that race restart. Getting ready to go back racing. Out of the race, Winnie Calhoun, Yael Carrillo, Christian Russell, Mitchell Collins, and Lane Sanders. That leaves us with 33 trucks on the track for 10 laps of action. Can they keep it green? We're about to find out. Lucas Kitano is the leader. Jack James is second. Ibrahimian third. Baranauskas is up to fourth in the top 5 for the first time today. Bradley Ream up to 5th. He's had a fast truck today. Henry Sandfer 6th. Billy Kidd 7th. Sam Young 8th. Max Anderson 9th. Austin Tyler rounds out the top 10. Mason Dagger up here with some door damage. There's Donovan Cage in 12th. Will Parrish 13th. As we go through the field really quickly here, we are back. Green flag racing. Who's going to get the W here today at the Springfield Mile?
And Donovan Cage and Sam Young keep up the damage. We'll see. Billy Kidd, man, he's starting to make moves. Audra's now on the outside. This could be big.
Jack James going to peek the nose to the inside of Kitano. As Ibrahimian and now Bradley Ream up to 4th place.
Ibrahimian sends it though, but he'll back off for a second there.
Oh, and it looked like he really backed off to me. He sent it. He's still there looking for the race lead on the 13. See that run though. James got off of turn 2. And he'll get another run off of 4, and then he has the draft to work with him down the straightaway.
And Young's on the inside. He's trying to make this happen even with the damage.
See Bradley Ream, Baranauskas, and Billy Kidd next 3 up on the inside line. There is Sam Young. He seems to have the pace through the straightaways, or through the corners rather. Same with Donovan Cage. They seem to have it through the corners, but let's see what the pace is like down the straightaway. Oh, you can see Austin Tyler a couple mile an hour faster than the 6. And then even so with Sam Young, I think, because Henry Sandfer to his inside. But here comes Audra Baranauskas. She's got all her competitors behind her. And she's looking to clinch what would be her second Truck Series title and second in a row.
Audra looks good. Billy Kid looks 3 wide. Ibrahim is staying in line, which is smart early to go. It's still early. Race doesn't start till we get to 3 or 4 to go. And still a little early for it.
Right now, the favorites appear to be Jack James and Ibrahimium. They've been up here for most of the race, but don't count out the champ, Audra Baranauskas. 5 laps away this time by from clinching her second title. Only other Chevrolet in the top 10 right now is Henry Sandfer in the 87.
This is big, though. Look at Sam Young. Audra might get put up high. Sam Young trying not to be denied to cut that championship one more week longer.
And Sam Young's going to need some help here, though. He needs Audra to fall out of the top 10 for him to gain enough points to be within reach for Chicagoland. Time is running out. 4 laps to go. These laps, they just keep ticking by. 3 wide for the race lead here with Ibrahimium, James, and Baranauskas.
Tight there for Ibrahim, a little loose as well from James. Here comes Audra's got a little run as she sent it in. Yep.
3 wide for the race lead through 3 and 4. Ibrahimium will be cleared by the 13. Still got the 21 who was inside. Now they're 3 wide behind for second.
And Jack James goes a little high. He does. He's going to exit a little tight. There's Audra again on that quarter panel in 3.
They'll be coming to 2 laps to go. There's Sam Young on the inside line, going for second place with a push from Henry Sandfer. Henry's going to get into the inside wall. Almost disaster. 4 wide, almost 5. Austin Tyler with a big move, the rookie in the 54.
Oh, buddy. Lap and a quarter to go. Jack James takes the white. Will he take the checkers? Audra's underneath second for Catano.
White flag in the air. Can Jack James get his second win of the season? He got his first back at Memphis, but he goes wide through turns 1 and 2. Audra with a great run through the corner will get to his inside.
No draft help for James. Audra's got some help. This could be big in the 3. One last time.
Through turns 3 and 4. Henry Sandfer is right there with her. The Chevys to the front at the last second. Drag race to the checkered flag. It's Audra Baranauskas, the champion for the second year in a row. Gets her 5th win of the season, 11th of her career, and she gets it to lock up the title. What a way to win a race and win a championship.
Delta Airlines slogan is climb higher, and she climbed high today. And got it done as there's a little stack up there in the backstretch. Got to give credit to Sam Young and Cage, though. They fought tooth and nail to get this to the second to the last race of the season. It was pretty impressive.
And they needed to do without that contact there on that last caution. And they were looking pretty good. Cage especially looking pretty good to have at least one more chance, even if it was a very slim chance. But they'll get another chance next year. They'll be back in that 6 team. Tough break for them. Not even going to get a top 10 today. Sam Young led the most laps today, Vince, and he finishes in 6th. Going to go through the top 10 here. Jack James 2nd. Henry Sandfer 3rd. Catano 4th. Austin Tyler with the top 5 run. Aforementioned Young in 6th. Ibrahimium 7th. Bradley Ream 8th. Billy Kid 9th. And Blaine Saylor gets his first career top 10 here today. Rest of the results will show after our coverage ends, along with your point standings. There is no championship to be decided in Jerky Pro, but will that be the same for Digital Storm? We've still got 2 races to go over there. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the Cup race here, and then we'll see you guys next week at Chicagoland for Jerky Pro in a race that'll pretty much just be a race for the win, as there is nothing else to gain except for a battle for second in the points between Young, Cage, and Henry Sandfer. So we'll see you guys then.